but I was in a really victim-y place for a while, I think, just to kind of like grieve that. And then eventually I was kind of like, okay, no, girl, like you had a part in this. You played a really big part in this. Like, you're an adult. You are equally responsible for the outcomes of shit. Like, honestly, the disillusion of all of that was really when I was like, I need to like really face the shadow shit that I have going on, or I'm gonna just like be hurtful to people in my life, and I'm gonna destroy my life and my relationships, and I can't do that.
Welcome to another episode of What It's Like to Be You. I'm Josh Levine, your host, and on this show, I interview accurately typed guests about their experience as their Enneagram type. Today, my guest is Sarah Fair, who is a self-prosocial 6-wing-7, 6-9-3 trifix, and her 9-fix is 9 with an 8-wing, which we explore because it's sort of interesting how it provides a blanker canvas than 9-wing-1 to her 6-wing-7 core as a kind of background. This was a really good and vulnerable conversation that explored how Sarah's mental energy kind of takes her over or creates a kind of mental frenzy, and the function that serves to disarm people, to create playfulness, and to pave the way for a deeper social connection, but that can also inhibit the soul-to-soul contact that she's trying to achieve. We also talk about her as a musician. Music is really important to her, and how she accesses that inner place in her, that kind of sacred inner place where music comes from, and also the place where, if she were to connect with someone soul to soul, where she would be connecting from, and how that works for her as a mental type. In the second part of the conversation, we go deep into what causes 6 to unconsciously default to a kind of victim mentality. And it's something I've been really curious about for a while, and I think we got to a really good answer here, exploring Sarah's past relationships and also how she orients to a kind of wanting a certain kind of protective function to come in and help absolve her of a certain responsibility, and the journey she's taken in her life to start taking more responsibility for herself, which is a journey that all 6s have to take. The journey towards making my own choices, making decisions on behalf of myself, and taking ownership over them, as opposed to kind of following some map or recipe that I've ingested from the outside world. It's also really cool to see Sarah have a real-time insight about some of the underlying motivations for her self-growth project, which I will leave as a surprise as you watch the interview. So really good stuff here about core 6-wing-7, and I would like to plug, before we get to the interview, the Enneagram School. If you're curious about the Enneagram or Type 6 or anything we talk about this episode, and you'd like to learn more, then you can go to the enneagramschool.com and check out our free content on the website. We have a lot more interviews just like this also, and we have an intro course that you can check out where we actually just lay it all out. What is the Enneagram? What are all the intro concepts? And what is this thing? So all that can be found at the enneagramschool.com. And the other thing I want to plug is Sarah herself. Sarah is a musician and a singer-songwriter, and you can find her music and her musical projects in the show notes. There will be links in the show notes. Okay, without further ado, I'm very excited for you to learn from Sarah. So I thought we'd start by me reading a couple of the things the bullet points that you sent.
Okay.
And zooming out from that to notice a kind of 6 pattern. And actually, the punchline is the 6 pattern of internal contradictions.
Oh God, so many.
Living in internal contradictions as a way of being. And in the many bullet points, over probably 20 bullet points that you sent me as potential topics, here are a couple. So you said, in your words, my super happy double-sided coin from hell, fear of being too much / fear of being not enough, or fear of not being enough. Afraid that if I swing too far in either direction, I'll alienate everyone in my life. So that was bullet point 1. Number 2, authority issues. So loving and hating authority. 3, the desire for constant transformation and exploration versus the fear of transforming in a way that will alienate my partner, friends, people I love. 4, just 2 more. The tension between the desire to merge completely with someone and be completely known / know them completely, and the desire to retain some level of mystery so as not to become boring. And then 5, disappointment when someone doesn't match my energy / disappointment in myself when I can't match someone else's energy because I burnt myself out. So we could go into any one of those, and I think any one of those would be a really interesting topic for exploration, but I was kind of just wanted to point out the overarching pattern of the presentation of these either ors, or these spectra that you live or you ping pong between.
Yeah.
And how that is for you as an experience.
Oh, it's a lot. I feel like there's kind of a constant tension internally that's created by that. And then I think externally as well. I think the more you get to know me, the more you realize there's all this like just shit that's in there. Can I say
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Is that okay?
Yes, you can.
Okay, great.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Oh, thank
Yeah.
God. Because I still wear like a trucker. Okay. So anyway, what am I even talking about? Oh my God. Oh, what? No, okay, so yeah, basically the more you get to know me, the more you get to know that I'm just like a fucking mess. And there's just all this like tension all the time, which um I think I'm like a difficult person to know intimately because of that, because it's like it draws people in, but then it's like welcome to the hellscape. Like
Okay. Yeah.
so yeah.
Well, okay, even just right there, what just that whole thing that just happened is like
Yeah.
that's like okay, 6 wing 7 and 9 wing 8 secondary. It feels
Yeah.
like to me because it's like the electricity and the the buzzing
Yeah.
energy of of the 6-7 area.
Yeah.
But then it's that kind of like allowing myself to be however I am 9 wing 8 area. It's
Yeah,
like
I mean, it's taken some time to kinda get to that. I've
okay,
spent a lot of time in my life. I've been in therapy for, like, 10 years,
okay,
and I think that's helped a lot, because I spent a lot of time not being okay with just being the way that I am,
mhm,
and a lot of that came down to, like, really fearing being too much,
yeah,
for a long time, and then
yeah,
eventually just being like, "Well, I can only really be myself." Like, if I'm
yeah,
not,
yeah,
I'm just gonna, you know, you don't feel alive. Like, I had become so disconnected from myself, I guess, that I had to spend a long time kind of trying to find that again. But it's something that I still struggle with, um, a lot
okay,
at times. It just kind of depends. More 6, 9 shit.
yeah.
But
Actually, I want to amend something I just said. It's the 9 wing 8 area is not necessarily allowing yourself to be however you are, but with the 8 wing there is a certain self permission that it's more so than I would say 9 with the 1 wing, right?
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's not as much of, like, a morality, I guess, that's,
yeah, or
like,
not as much
attached
of a
to it.
zipped up, kind of
I can't
tightness.
zip it up. I've tried.
Yeah.
It's like it's just there. It's just all hanging out. Like,
Mm.
God. And that can be a lot. So, yeah.
If this might, I don't know if this is too broad of a question, but you said you've been in therapy for a long time and have been
Mhm.
working on what have you been working on in therapy?
Oh god, a lot of things. So, it's been a lot of different things for a long time, but I feel like, there was actually a lot of stuff that ended up coming back to, so I got into the Enneagram maybe, like, I don't even know, times a flat circle, maybe, like, 4 years ago or so, but we were working on stuff that has then become meaningful to me in terms of, like, thinking about it in an Enneagram lens.
Okay.
We were doing stuff with that, like, when I was, like, in college and stuff, like, years and years ago. So we worked a lot on, I guess, just getting in touch with my own identity, like, my own wants
Okay.
and needs and, stuff that
Yeah.
ended up being kind of, like, I feel like stuff that as a Bermuda, you kinda have to, like, work on, not just reflecting back what everybody wants to see, and then I also, like, I found out that I'm autistic when I was 22, so, like, a lot of that ended up being like, okay, well, if I'm just masking all the time and just showing people what they wanna see, then, I'm not really honoring my own experience or my own inner, world. So it's
Mhm.
been a lot of that kinda stuff, and then, stuff with, family bullshit, like body image issues and, being worried a lot that about how I show up in relationship with other people, and being worried that if I'm not, like, delivering or something that I'm not gonna, like, provide value to people anymore. Just, like, that kinda stuff. I mean, there's been a lot. It's been 10 years, like, there's been a
Okay,
lot
yeah.
of
So I
different
guess that was
things.
yeah, quite a
Um,
broad question.
yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, I don't know. I mean, there's it's been a lot, but it's been good. Also, like, I had to really learn how to not, like, I had this thing going on for a long time where I would get so, like, almost, like, enmeshed in relationships that whenever it would end, I was like, "Well, what the fuck do I do now? Like, what do I," and we were like, "Well, maybe that's because I have, like, divorced parents that divorced when I was 4, so I don't know how to," all this shit. There's just, like, we've been doing a lot. But then a lot of that has kind of also popped up and been helpful for me as I've like learned about typology and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't think of a better way to ask this question.
Go for it. Just
So this is how it's going to be.
yeah.
So, because there's so much content
Yeah.
pouring out of you,
Yeah.
you're such a fountain, and it's insightful and it's interesting. But I wonder what's at the core of it. Like, what's at the center of you in the sense of like what's really important to you? Maybe even just taking kind of right now in your life. What's
Oh
what's
God. I
the
mean,
yeah.
there's a lot. There's a lot. And that's an interesting question and I'm gonna find my way back to that. And if I don't, please get me
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. So I was watching you just like process and focus down and find like the core of what you were trying to ask. And I was sitting there and I was thinking about like, you're really okay with like just quiet. And I feel like that's something that I need to like cultivate in my life. And I've tried and I have to like consciously remind myself of because I'll just like talk until I find it. And,
Okay.
which
Yeah.
is like a lot. And like, um, but then I feel like if there's not another person on the other end of it, I don't know that I've found it because I'll just keep going. Like I'll just blah, 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 like, and I'm not even like, I don't know. Okay, see,
Yeah.
I'm like not even getting anywhere with this, but do you know what I'm saying? Like it was just interesting to watch. I was like,
I
that's
do.
really,
Well, is it
yeah.
happening right now? I mean, in the sense of you're kind of speaking your way into a point of
I don't
clarity
think
and
so
waiting.
because I'm not answering
Okay.
your question at all. I guess so. I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's really
Well,
hard
actually,
for
but
me to touch
let's
ground a lot of times.
yes, let's stay
Yeah.
with that for a second because I think
Okay.
it'll get us back to the original question. So,
Yeah.
what's hard about touching ground?
Um, so I just it's like things go so quickly in my brain. It's like my mouth or things are happening so quickly that it's like I don't have like the processing speed to like actually sift through everything that's going on in my brain in real time or something like that. Um, but like right now, I was going somewhere with that, but I lost it. It's gone. It's gone to the void. It'll come back at like 3 in the morning. Um, yeah, so I need a lot of and I kind of hate that I need this because I kind of feel like it like burdens other people. But it's like a lot of times like I need somebody else to be like, all right, let's like reel it in. Like, where are you? Because it's not just like an in conversation thing. It can manifest in other facets of my life too, right? So like I'm a musician and I perform and I'm like a singer-songwriter and that's what
Hmm.
I do. And that's what I've always wanted to do. But I will just, and that's just fucking insane because that's like so core to my identity, but I'll just like forget about it for like days. And I
Yeah.
have to like, something has to bring me back to that shit because I will just go off on like, I'm reading this book now and I'm doing this thing and oh my god, the world is on fire and now I gotta oh my god and I'm gonna hang out with my friends and we're gonna have so much fun and then we've got this thing going on and now there's this going on in my relationship and now we get
Hmm.
and like a lot of the stuff I've done in therapy is like trying to like my therapist, her name's Christina, she'll be like, Sarah, and I'm like, Christina, she's like, Sarah, I need you to like she used to tell me to like go and just like put my hands in the dirt. And this was when I was in college and I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm gonna go
Dude.
play in the fucking dirt, Christina. You're right. I didn't say that to her, but I was like, yeah, okay. She was like, cause there's just so much like like all the time, right? Like I'm fucking crazy.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
and she was like, you need to like do some breathing. You need to like ground yourself. And then eventually, like one day I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go put my fucking hands in the dirt, whatever. And it was such a weird thing. And that
Hmm.
was so like I'm pretty disconnected from my body. So that like
Yes.
shocked me
Yeah.
into my body enough that I was like, damn, I can like chill for a second. This is not answering your question at all. I'm so sorry. Like
Well, it's gonna get there though.
I'm just riffing.
I have faith that it will get there. I have
It fucking
faith.
might. It might take us a while, but no, I mean, I feel like um
Well, so just okay, real quick. So
sorry, yeah, I got
your therapist recommended. She noticed how high frequency
oh,
you
you
can
can't
be.
miss it.
That's true. You
This
can't
is
miss it. And then
medicated. This is with Concerta. Okay?
okay,
Like
okay. Wait, wait, this happens to me with six all the time. Like Six energy is like, it's so disarming and it's so funny, right? And it kind of gets me kind of, um,
Come with me.
it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh. Yeah. But
Yeah.
also it has that effect, right? This is part of how six impacts other people, is the
That's
way
how
that
I
they kind
suck
of
them
like
in.
whip up this sort of a mental humor frenzy, and now we're all ping-ponging in
Well,
mental
that's where
space,
the
and it's funny
juice
and
is.
entertaining.
That's, like, where the good shit is. I'm like, "Come with like,
Uh-huh.
let's go on this little, like and then let's just, like, live in this little vibe. Like, this is so fun. Like, this is so good. This is the good shit."
Yeah.
And then
But it's also, that's the
it's
stuff
not
that,
sustainable.
um well, I guess it's great as a mode of being, as a sort of
Yeah.
dimension to access, but what I'm hearing from you is that it becomes kind of your default, and it takes you away from the things that are more important to you, like
Yeah.
remembering yourself as a musician, for example.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be well, that's kinda one of the things with I think so I write songs, and I think that a lot of my music can sound kind of, like, pseudo nine-ish in some way because I feel like,
Mhm.
um because, like, I play the piano and then singing and having an instrument and stuff, that's so physical.
Mhm.
I think that brings me into my body a little bit more, so it's kind of like I feel like when I'm writing and this is not something that I'd thought of before, so thank you for pulling this out of my hellscape. But I feel like um it's like through writing that kind of gets down to the core under all the, sparky, like, bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
here's the actual feeling without because I have this thing where, like, a lot of times I try to, like, intellectualize my feelings, and so I'll be, like, Googling, like, a really stupid shit, like, "Is it okay to feel like da 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 da?" And it's like, "Okay, bitch, that's just your feelings, like, chill." But then with writing, it's like that's just allowing you to you're just letting it be. You don't have to analyze it. It doesn't have to mean anything. You don't have to, like, look for the fucking, "What does this mean for, like, my relationship? What does this mean? Do the people in my life secretly fucking hate me?" Like, I don't know, but, like, just okay, what if we just write down those feelings? What if we just put that into a song or something? And then it's putting that energy into something that's other than, like it's just, like, channeling it a little bit more, and so it's not just,
Mhm.
like TV static or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. TV
Yeah.
static is a great
Mhm.
metaphor, I think. Yeah. You said that this mental energy,
Mhm.
this kind of boop, boop, boop,
Yeah.
associative, kind of fun, sparky fireworks, mental fireworks energy
Yeah.
is where the juice is. That was your phrase.
Yes.
What is it? What's juicy about that?
Well, it's not all the juice. I think there's juice there can be juice in the body stuff, but that's a different thing. But, I don't know, I just really like stimulation. I'm, like, very like, stimulation seeking.
Mhm.
So, I feel like I just wanna, like, live in that space where, like, if you're really, like, this isn't gonna be very articulate, but, like, if you really are just, like, pinging back and forth with somebody, and that's really, really good, and, like,
Mhm.
there's, kind of like that, like, current that's, uh, created there, I can just, like, live
Yeah.
in that, and I don't wanna not live in it, and then whenever that's gone, then I'm just, like you have, like, the dopamine crash or whatever of, like, well, I just got this, like, really good hit of just, like, this stimulation, and it's like we were just, like, really sharing these, like, we had this, like, back and forth going on, and that was really great. Now I'm, like, really excited, now I'm all up here, and now it's like, fuck, you know? It's like I just wanna live in that, like, juice all the time because I feel like that's my I don't know if that's where, like, what my ego wants to get a hold of all the time, but it's not
Mhm.
really good for me or what. Um, but that's, like I feel like that can be, like, transformative in a sense because then you're getting all this new, like, energy and this new juice, and then they're getting it, and it's just good. I just like it.
Yeah. I mean, what's clear is that you're feeding on it. Like
Mhm.
you want that. I
Yeah.
guess I guess my question is, why is that so sacred?
That's a good question. I don't know why. Um, why is that so sacred? I think maybe as, like, a means of connection with another person.
Mhm.
I think that's the first thing that's kind of coming to my mind as resonant for me, but
Mhm.
maybe I'm sure that's not the full thing. Um, but I'm not really sure, like, the why at the core of it. or I'm not sure right now. That's not
Yeah.
something I've really thought about. I think I've been more seeking it rather than I don't know. It just feels good. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels okay. It feels good.
It's like there's an electricity there that I think it's like I there's like an aliveness to that, and
Yeah.
it's like I
Yeah.
want to like just live on that. I don't know. Like I've never done. Okay, this is gonna sound weird. I've never done cocaine, right?
Mhm.
Like I don't do like don't do drugs, kids. But like or do them, whatever. Do what you want. But like you're adults or you're not. Ask your parents. I don't fucking know. Like
Sorry, I just can't. I just can't. It's so funny.
I'm
It's
like
just so funny. It's like
some comment. She's telling people to do drugs. Like
no. It's I'm just watching you like ping pong inside yourself. Like you say one sentence and then it's as if you imagine how it's landing and then or like but don't think I said this and then but
oh,
also
the
yeah
meta is always going. Okay, like it's always going. Um,
yeah
no, but I feel like it's almost like there's like a stimulant effect to it, right? Like it's almost like people who are like really addicted to stimulants or whatever. They're just like, okay, I snorted my Coke and now I don't feel good anymore because it wore off, so I need to get more Coke. And I'm like, sometimes that's how I feel about um like these kind of like with other
yeah the mental
people.
energy thing yeah
But like but then not everybody's like going there with me. So then I get really bored and I'm like, now I'm just like at somebody's fucking house and this is like this is weird. Like we're just like watching like fucking Great British fuck I don't know. We're watching like Naked and Afraid or something and now I'm like why like can we like talk about something? Can we like what are we doing? I don't know. So
yeah
I don't know how I got to Naked and Afraid, but
well
here I am.
let's see
Wild
I guess
show.
back to this question of what's really important to you
Yeah.
this is one
Oh,
dimension of
this
that
is what's
answer
really
right
important to me. Yeah.
yeah
I wanna like I wanna okay, I'm gonna get really like sincere to the point that it's gonna be like cringe. But I want this is like something I was talking to my partner about the other day. Like, and I know this is like really intense, but it's like I wanna connect with the people in my life and I don't want it to just be like I don't like small talk. And this has like kind of been an issue in my life because like you have to do small talk or else that's fucking weird. Like it weirds people out. Like you can't just like walk up to people and be like, "So like how are you?" But like how are you? Like how are you? Like nobody wants to like go there all the time, but I'm like I want to fucking go there. Like tell me about your shit. Like
hmm
um no, like I want to like when you connect so much that it's like you're like kind of like this is gonna sound so fucking stupid, but like touching souls, kind of like your like essences are just like touching. Like you are connecting to like the purest degree. It's like I want to get through all the bullshit. Like I don't want to deal with like the bullshit. Like this is
hmm
the stupid shit, but sometimes the stupid shit's fun. Like sometimes I just want to talk about fucking like watching Love is Blind. But I feel like sometimes even then, like you're creating this like you can get to the good shit through like just playing with stuff and toying with stuff, but it's like
hmm
that's the stuff that makes me feel like really alive, and that's the stuff
yeah
that I feel like really creates like these really deep bonds, and I'm like and sometimes it's people like there are people that I had that with like in college where like I haven't talked to them since, but I'm still really glad that we connected like that. Like sometimes you don't
yeah
connect with people like that for a long time, but it's like
yeah
at least you are, and it's like I feel like that like when I feel like this is from, like, a Halsey song or something, so this is gonna be fucking annoying, but I feel like when you have, like, red and blue and those come together, then, like, you can't separate those things and have them be just red and blue anymore, like, there's purple now. Do you know what I mean?
hmm
And it's
hmm
like, I like that when, like, you really connect to the point
yeah
that you're both kind of a little bit different, but that can also be a bad thing. So,
yes
I learned that in my mid-20s,
man
okay?
I'm laughing because it's like oh man let me take a breath for myself it's
Sorry.
like no it's okay it's like you present this thing that is really sacred to you this like souls touching thing
Yeah.
and then as soon as it's out or at first of all there's the preamble and the disclaimer before it's out it's like this is going to sound fucking stupid but let me just say
Read
and
the
then
terms
and
and
then
conditions.
yeah and then you present it and then and then there's more disclaimers that follow after that. Like, and it's not doesn't always have to be that way, but it's
Yeah.
like
But I'd
somewhere
like
in the middle.
prefer it's that way.
Yeah, yeah.
But it can be a bad thing too. Like if you get into a really like toxic situation, then somebody can get in there and like it changes you, but in a way where you're less open to that kind of stuff.
I want to talk about you. You wrote a lot in the materials you sent me about
Mhm.
victim mentality,
Oh,
unconscious
interesting. Yeah.
sabotage, and
Mhm.
always making yourself the underdog.
Yeah.
And
That's a good.
those are such six themes, first of all. And I was so glad that you just kind of like called them out. And
Yeah.
I guess what do you, yeah, why do you think that happens? Or what's the mechanism? How does that start happening for you?
How does it start happening?
Yeah.
Um, so honestly, I think that it comes from a place of that I think the thought is, and here's my disclaimer, there's probably like a lot more nuance to it, but I think that at the core of it, this might be what it is. If I was wrong and if I fucked up, then I'm left to deal with it on my own. Like there's not going to be any support there.
Yeah.
And so I think that there can be this like, and I don't think it happens entirely like consciously,
Hmm.
but it's like I feel like I'm at a point in my life now where and I still fucking do it. But I call myself out on my shit a lot more than I used to. Um but there have been some examples where it has been like bad. Like a lot when I was younger, like when I was in my early 20s. Um to the point where it was like I was like a straight up like toxic ass person. There was like I had the breakdown of a relationship that I was in, and it was kind of just like I think the perfect storm of um things where like okay, that's when like my fucking like shadow shit came out to play. So it was basically like not that any of this stuff kind of really matters, but um for context, but it was basically like I was dating this person who my he he was like working at this place where all of our friends were he was kind of like their supervisor, and I had just graduated college. So like, you know, everybody's like your social group kind of just like dissolves a little bit because people move away. So then all my friends were his friends. And then we broke up during COVID, which was already like kind of a clusterfuck because you're not around. Like it fucks all that shit up. So then we broke up. I started acting fucking crazy. And then it kind of led to like our whole friend group kind of like siding with him. But then, so there's that, right? Where I'm like, he did this to me. This is all him. Okay.
Hmm.
All of our friends would not have like pieced out for me if I wasn't acting fucking crazy. And like, even like, I haven't talked to this person that my ex in like 4 or 5 years since
Hmm.
then. And I was real victimy about that for a long time, especially because like I had started dating him at a time when like my family kind of fell apart, and so I was kind of like this person abandoned me, and then but I had been like a total menace for like months and months and months,
Hmm.
and I had to like I feel
What
like a
does it
big
mean?
moment for me.
What does that mean to be a menace, or when you say I was acting fucking crazy?
Oh,
What was that? What
like
was?
crazy sick shit. Like, well, just I was not being good, like basically, I just said really mean stuff to him about his the girlfriend that the person he was then with, who was somebody that I knew, and like that wasn't okay. I just was really all over the place,
Mhm.
and I wasn't super respectful of boundaries that he was putting up, and I just kind of I was just not it was bad. Like I was being really um just
Sounds like
like
some reactive attachment stuff going
it
on
was
there.
bad. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it was like a
Okay.
really self-destructive time, and it was destructive to him, and, like, I would've, like, pieced out from my ass too. And
Mhm.
he had every right to do that, you know? And, but I was in a really victim-y place for a while, I think just to kind of, like, grieve that, and then eventually I was kinda like, "Okay, no, girl, like, you had a part in this. You played a really big part in this, like, you're an adult. You are you know, equally responsible for the outcomes of shit. Like you didn't, you know, um and even in, like in our relationship, like I was really difficult. Um like kind of like I would like test him kind of with stuff, you know,
Like what?
just really unchecked sick shit. Just like I'm trying to think of specific examples. Um oh god, this is so I was okay, to be fair, I was like 20 or 21. Like I was really like
Yeah. I love
and
stories from this time of life though, because it's
yeah.
so pure. It's not
Yeah.
mediated by maturity. You just
No,
are.
but it was really
Yeah.
bad. Like so there was this one friend that he had, and it's crazy that I had this like weird jealousy thing because I actually don't think I'm like I don't think that I'm like super actually totally wired for monogamy, but I don't think I knew this at that point.
Mhm.
But he had this one friend where they had like flirtation or whatever, and then I was just like, okay, well, it's me or her, which was like totally not. I don't know why I was like so fucking hung up on this shit. Like I was just not a secure person. And then I knew that he was like lying to me about stuff that was going on there. And I like knew, and I ended up being right about that. But I found that out because I took his phone and went through his shit. And then I think I screenshotted it and like sent it to our friends in our like Discord to be like, the truth is out. And then he was like, we got to take a break, which is not even how we ended up breaking up,
Mm.
you know? So he was a 2 with a 3 wing. And he just was like, I'm going to make you whole. And I was like, okay, well, I kind of had to get there on my own. And I was just like really, really dependent on him. I was like, he's going to show me through life and it's going to be fine. And like, honestly, the disillusion of all of that was really when I was like, I need to like really face the shadow shit that I have going on,
Mhm.
or I'm going to just like be hurtful to people in my life and I'm going to destroy my life and my relationships. And I can't do that. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So if you, um, let's see, do you have like words and specificity around the shadow stuff that you had to confront?
Yeah, absolutely. So, um, do I have words around the shadows? Yeah. I mean, it was just a lot of selfishness, a lot of
Mhm.
selfishness, a lot of attachment shit. I think a lot of expectation for other people in my life to kind of handle my emotions for me so that I didn't have to. Um, a lot of
Mhm.
super unchecked reactivity, um,
And
towards
reactivity
fear over my
to like, what was the nature of your reactivity? I guess what I'm hearing is that you were doing a lot of um, provoking and
Mhm.
being kind of mean and just like poke, poke, poke
Yeah. And then as
to
soon as there's a reaction being like, "How could
yeah,
you do this to me?" Like,
yeah.
yeah. And then trying
But
to get my friends to be like, "See? This is what's been happening." And but I didn't realize that I was doing this shit. You know what I mean?
yes, but now with some space and some
Mhm.
psychological distance and some mature reflection, like
Yeah.
what is it that you were trying to do when you were poking it?
I don't know. I don't know what I thought the goal was. Um, I think I was just kind of, like, flailing.
Yeah.
What was the goal? That's a good question. I think I don't know. I think I was trying to, like, maybe draw him back in somehow, but why I thought that would be the way to do it, I'm not sure.
Yeah. I guess that's why we call it
Yeah.
reactive attachment, right? It's like it's
Yeah.
provoked to get you to come towards me.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah, I wanted to be
yeah.
like yeah, I don't know. It was just yeah, yeah. It was not good. It was not yeah.
And
I feel
and
really bad about it.
the coming towards, what were you ultimately wanting? Like imagine if he came towards you in the way that just totally satisfied you and were like, "Okay, yeah, I what would that have been?"
Um, I think a return to the way that things had been, in a way that where I wouldn't have to actually do any growth on myself, I think. I
Mhm.
wouldn't have to, like, actually look at myself in any way, and that just wasn't realistic, like, that wasn't gonna happen, especially with the way that I was fucking acting, like, it wasn't, that was never gonna happen. I think that I was not willing to modulate in a way that would've been fair to both of us.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think that's kind of where I was with it.
I guess I'm kind of driving at something, and that feels like a mystery to me. Although I have a theory,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and I'll do it in a particular way. So
Okay.
when I was 20, 21,
Mm-hmm.
I had a relationship with so college relationship, and I was profoundly mentally unhealthy at the time. And this is during the time as a 3 when I was doing a lot of like shady kind of stuff behind the scenes
Yeah.
at school, like cheating in academic work, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I had absolutely no self-esteem. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, I remember just being literally feeling worthless and feeling like I had to hide, and also would cry. This is dark, but yeah, this is just a time in my life. I would cry for hours in my room, and then I would do that social 3 thing of like walk out, put the smile on, and then
Yeah.
everybody I would see, hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Going to that party
Yeah.
night? And so it
Right.
was that yeah, that was a really dark time. Anyway,
I
so
get it.
but in a relationship, I was in a
Mm.
relationship at the time that didn't last, but um I remember this one incredible moment that was my girlfriend she made a list of all of the qualities about me that she loved.
Yeah.
And it was like 43 qualities long.
Right.
And she like read it to me slowly over the phone. It was a long distance relationship. And at the end of it, I remember saying, but you didn't say brilliant.
Yeah.
And it was, so as I think about, um, where I was internally at that moment, I
Yeah.
remember thinking, okay, like what was I trying to get out of her? Just like a complete, total, unconditional, mothering love,
Well, yeah,
that,
exactly.
yeah, that will like
Yeah.
totally would envelop and see every dimension of me. And especially at that particular time, my brilliance, which I was the most insecure about, right?
Yeah.
Being at school, like doing the shady stuff and stuff like that. And so, um, I wonder if there's an analogy for you, if there's something
Yeah.
like that, where something that you were wanting or some insecure thing that you were, something specific.
Right. So I think that I think there are probably a few different things, but I think that I wanted I think I was looking for, like, unconditional love and being, like, unconditionally chosen.
Yep.
Um, and I think that for me specifically, because of stuff that had gone on, like, in childhood, I think that I needed the polarity of being chosen over another person.
Okay.
Um, like, so trying to think of sorry, I'm trying to, like, actually ground into this a little bit and
Mhm.
not just flit away. So, I think that that was probably a big part of it. I do think that I had put him in a really, like, parental position,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, psychologically, like, to the point where, like, I used to, like this is so cringe. I used to, like, really, like, just I ended up just, like, talking in this, like, stupid little voice all the time, and, like, it was just really weird, like, I don't know why I did
Yes.
that,
Oh,
but I
that's
would, like,
interesting.
do that
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
him.
Uh-huh.
I did it with my boyfriend before him too,
Uh-huh.
um, where I think I would make, like, parents out of my and I'm really like, I really try really hard in my relationship now to, like,
Uh-huh.
not do any of that shit
Yeah.
and not to go into that place, but I think it's like I feel like it must be some, like I don't know if I was trying to appeal to their, like, "Well, I'm just a little weak, like, I need you to save me because you're a big, strong man, come save, like, weak little me," or something, do you
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah. Yeah.
mean?
I do.
But
Yeah.
then, like, weak little me will then turn around and be like, "Well, I can take care of myself, and I don't need you to take care of me," and then, "But actually oh, but how could you say I didn't da, da, da," and it's just like, "Bitch, what the fuck?" Like,
That's so
what?
so stinks. Yeah. No, I
It's
totally get it.
so but it's
Yeah.
so insufferable, and,
Yeah.
I
Do
made
you
it
have
really hard for him.
do you have words for the specific like dimension or quality of parenting that you were looking for?
What do you mean? Like, do you mean maternal versus paternal, or?
Yeah, I guess I'm sort of fishing for something. I'm just
Yeah.
let's see. I'll just ask.
I'm just
I'll
trying
ask
to
it
I'm
more.
trying to figure out which fish you want so I can get go get it.
Well, yeah, I'm trying not to prompt you with it, see if it comes out
Oh,
organically.
okay. Okay, okay, okay.
I'll just prompt you with it and see how you react to
Okay.
it. So, what I'm wondering about is like as a 3, I think about
Mhm.
3, the sort of the core wound or the way that 3s try to make parents out of their partners is by
Mhm.
um let's see, making them love them unconditionally. Let me actually do this in a different way.
Mhm.
It's about gaze. It's about how you see me. It's about
Yeah.
I want the totality of my subjective inner experience to be known and loved and valued.
Okay, yeah.
And for a 6, what I'm wondering about is there a dimension of it where it's more about being let's see, supported to stand on my own 2 feet,
Yeah.
or
Well,
attuned to at the level of orientation,
yeah.
where it's like um words are so hard here because it's like you could very easily
Well,
say I'm looking for unconditional love, but there's like I'm trying to parse out what the difference is between 3 and 6.
so I think there were a few different things. I think one of the things was I wanted to feel protected.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to feel, what did I want to feel? I think it's like I needed someone to support me to be able to know that I was correct or okay in being okay with myself. Do you know what I mean? And if they weren't okay with me, or if they didn't think I was lovable, then I wasn't lovable. So I think that was a big part of it. Um,
Oh, I actually just got an idea. Um this goes back to the victim mentality thing,
mhm,
because what I think in a certain way 6s are avoiding
mhm.
is taking responsibility for their choices.
Yeah,
Like I choose this,
yeah.
irrespective of any external anchoring. I'm not using some recipe or what someone else
Mhm.
tells me to do.
Yeah,
I choose to. This is my decision. This is what
yeah,
I've come to in term by my
yeah,
own inner compass.
right.
And delaying taking responsibility for themselves in this kind of mental alert way,
Mhm.
um, where I make my own decisions. They're sort of wanting it to be okay that they're not doing that, and
Yeah,
they're seeking a certain kind of support from their partners, where the partners either can make decisions for them or provide a certain um, level of protection where they can remain in a place of indecisive, not taking responsibility for myself, not,
yes,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
absolutely, and I was pissed that that was gone.
there
I
it
was
is.
pissed.
Okay,
I
yeah,
was pissed. It was like this visceral, like, uh, I think it came from a place of, like, visceral fear, and then a lot of times fear is covered anger is like a, uh, just fear with a fake mustache on or something, you know? It's
yeah.
like
There you
fear
go.
in
It's like a
disguise.
secondary emotion.
Mhm.
The fear, the
And so I
primary
was
thing.
just
Yeah,
because it's always the fear, right? Like, it's
yeah,
sick
yeah,
shit. I was just like, "Well, fuck, now this is gone." Like, what the fuck? And I was really pissed because I was like, "Now I have to turn around and, like, look at the void or, like, look at the
yeah,
abyss, and I
yeah.
have to fucking figure out how do I actually," because the thing is that, um so that ex at that time, I was going through really, really rough stuff, where there was, like, some legal stuff going on, there was, like, my family was falling apart, and I pretty much moved in with him after knowing him for, like, a week
Hmm.
because I couldn't go home anymore,
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
and
Okay.
yeah, there was a lot going on, it's really complicated, like, it ended up
Yeah.
actually being fine, like, my family actually didn't end up falling apart, it kinda did for, like, a year, and then everything was fine.
Yeah.
but I like couldn't go home. There had been like a really bad betrayal from basically like somebody from like a parental figure in my life.
I see.
And I like couldn't go home. And it was a male parental figure. So then I
Okay.
was like, so
Yeah.
I just moved in with this like basically stranger who was just like really nice to me. And I think that kind of cushioned me enough that I didn't actually have to like, I had support at that time from him.
Mhm.
So, you know, because like I wasn't really speaking that much to, there was a lot going on. And there was stuff going on with like my family. I'm in a divorced family. So there were things going on with both sides of my family.
I see.
So, um, so I was kind of like, okay, well, this person's going to help me like stand up basically. And
Yeah.
I still have
Yeah.
like a social support system and I still have, you know, um, people here. And then whenever he was basically like, we broke up then a couple of years later and COVID was happening. And, there was like this big 8 or 9 month period then when I was just like flailing around and was like, I'm just gonna, you know what? I was acting like really unhinged. Like I would call him like a dozen times, leave fucking crazy ass messages. I was also on way too high of a dose of Adderall, like, because I thought it would
Mhm.
make me thinner. And like it made
Wow.
me have like no impulse control, which again is just me not taking responsibility for my own actions. But you
Sure.
know,
Okay.
like so
Yeah.
um I was just acting really like wild. And I was like trying to get his mom on my side. Like it was a whole fucking thing, right? Which was like stupid because why like that's her son. But like whatever. So whenever
That's
he
amazing too,
finally
just that 6 trying to find allies, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
right? Like and
Yeah.
everybody was like seeing through that shit because it was really transparent because I was just like not okay.
Yeah.
Um like I was not like okay at that time. So then
Mhm. Mhm.
um basically then we there was like a big kind of like final blowout and then he like blocked me on everything. Which didn't stop me because I just like sent letters to his house, whatever, it's fine. And then after that, then like right after that, then like my cat died and my stepdad's mother died. It was like boom, 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 like all this shit happened.
Yeah.
And I was just like, fuck, I need to like do this for myself. Like I need to figure out how to put myself back together on my own.
Yeah.
And I think that's gonna involve me looking at like the ugliness in myself.
Mhm.
Like and like the parts of me that are really like because I hated myself. I was hating other people in my life and like just, you know, that kind
Mhm.
of stuff.
Mhm.
And then I didn't handle it well and it led to like I ended up like really struggling with like binge eating. I gained like 60 pounds. Like
Yeah.
it was like all this shit and it was like I had to learn to like get my shit together and
Mm.
figure out how to be that support for myself
Yeah.
instead of and it was like hard. It was like I ended up being like really depressed for a while and stuff, but then eventually like I started to get out of that hole.
Mhm.
But it took a long time and it like really fucking sucked.
Yeah.
But and it freaked me out for a long time because I was kind of like, well, now I just need to like never depend on another human being ever again. And it's like, no, bitch, like there's balance. Like I did the sixth thing, like I went to the other side a little bit
Totally.
too
Yeah.
hard.
That's right.
And then
Yeah.
I was kind of like, wow, I've really been like way overly depending on people in my life. And that
Mhm.
puts a really big burden on them.
Mhm.
And it, you know, opens me up to like the potential for this kind of thing to happen again.
Yeah.
Um, not just the part of me like where if something falls apart, then I just fall apart. Like, and that can't happen.
Right.
So yeah.
But it sounds like you had to kind of go occupy for a while the opposite pole. You
Yeah,
know,
I did.
you had been sort of unconsciously or consciously maybe, but like kind of radically dependent on
Yeah,
some kind of like protecting
absolutely.
energy.
And I feel like I've still ping-ponged back and forth with that.
Yeah.
Up until probably, like, some point in this summer, I was kinda like, "You know what? Like, you can trust yourself that if it" like, I would still be kind of like, "I can do everything on my own." Everybody just kinda, like, stay away like, "You stay in your lane," or whatever, and it was cutting off, like, aliveness in my
Hmm.
life.
Hmm.
But then eventually I got to this point where I was like, "You know what? Like, no, you can trust yourself that, like, you can stand on your like, you've rebuilt things. You've rebuilt, like" well, not rebuilt, but, like, you can support yourself by yourself, like emotionally, without actually sinking to the bottom and just like die. Like you can hit bottom and pop back up without somebody like pulling you up.
And
And
that's
so,
and that's a fundamental faith that is sort of lacking in
yeah,
the core six pattern,
yeah.
right? It's and so
And I feel like
yeah,
that changed everything. Like having
yeah,
that, and like that fear's still there, but it doesn't feel as like it's not visceral. Because like I know that I can,
uh-huh,
and you know what? I know that there are going to be times in my life where the bottom that I have to hit is a lot lower. You know what I mean? Like,
mhm,
I know that, I haven't had the death of a lot of family members or anything yet, but I know that, like, someday, like, my parents are gonna die, and that's gonna be a huge fucking blow, you know what I mean? But it's
mhm,
like, because I've hit a bottom and found my way up without dragging anybody else down with me, I know that I can do that again,
mhm,
no matter what it ends up being, or, I
right,
hope. Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it really is a I love these stories of hitting a kind of bottom. I love them.
Yeah.
Just because I mean, I relate in my own way, but
Yeah.
the lessons that you learn there are so powerful. And then there's a kind of
Absolutely.
redemption story, right? And
Yeah.
so I guess partly what I'm learning from your experience is that the way that sixes can unconsciously default to a victim mentality where they're like
Yeah.
oppressed by the world.
Yeah.
It's almost like what keeps happening to them, or I'm going to put some words to it. You tell me if this feels right, but it's like
Mhm.
they're they're unconsciously hoping for that figure that will be a let's see how to put it, that is just going to take care of everything. That's going
Yeah.
to make you not have to take responsibility for yourself in
To
this,
not have to be an
like
adult,
be yeah, to not have to be an adult, like to
basically.
be
Yeah.
online, in your
Yeah. Because I fucking
take
don't
resp
want.
yeah,
Absolutely, and it's still
yeah,
there. It's absolutely still there for me, and it's something that, I think now that I'm aware of it and I can see it, it
yeah,
doesn't, set as many little fires in my life as before, or set like, I'm acting like it's doing it to me, like, "No, bitch, you're doing it." Like, even that kinda shit, like, these little things, but
yeah,
no, I mean, I definitely think that I still will search for, yeah, like, who's gonna come and just take care of all of the shit that I can't for me
mhm,
so that I can
mhm,
just flit off and just all the time, you know what I mean?
right.
And then
I had
sometimes
this
I'm
ins
pissed that that's not there. And it's like, "Well,
yeah,
what the fuck? That's life. Like, you're an adult. Like,
I had this
welcome to
insight,
life."
this weekend. I was on a hike,
Mhm,
and I got to a point in the hike where the trail markers were missing, or at least
mhm.
I couldn't find them.
Yeah.
And I had this moment. I have a six fix, and I had this moment where
Okay.
I was like, these motherfuckers, like, like, and
Yeah.
this trail should be better marked, for God's sake. And then I
Yeah.
thought to myself, okay, wait, this is a six moment. It's like the
Mhm.
expectation that someone has traveled the path before and created markers.
Yeah.
And then the disappointment of when they haven't done. It's like nobody owes me anything. Nobody owes me
Oh,
a trail
yeah.
marker.
There's, like, an
So like,
entitlement with it.
yes,
There
yeah,
definitely is. There definitely is, and that's, like, really gross to look at and to really be like, "Ew, ew, Sarah, like, check your fucking ass." Like, that's like, it's just,
yeah,
yeah, no, that's definitely a thing. And even with, like, stupid stuff, you know? Like,
hmm
and it's, like, the equivalent of being like, um, oh my god, there's, like, this movie scene or something where I'm like, or it's like somebody it's like putting a fucking box down in the middle of the floor, forgetting that it's there, walking out into your living room in the middle of the night to drink some water or something, running into the box and be like, "Yeah, who put that there? Yeah, who would put that there?" You know what I mean? And it's like, I do this shit in my own fucking life. Like, you know how many flat tires I get? How many parking tickets I get? It's like, just like shit like that where I'm like, okay, like for example, okay, this is stupid. I
hmm
got a parking ticket. I got 2 parking tickets on Valentine's Day, right? Which
okay,
is
bummer. Sorry. Yeah.
okay. I mean, whatever. I parked, but I was parked in areas where I had parked before,
hmm
but were technically areas where I should not have been parking. But I've been parking there
Okay.
for years and never got a ticket. Okay.
Okay.
One
Yeah.
was like they're in 2 different areas, right? And I was like mad that I got these parking tickets. Well, then you shouldn't have fucking parked there. I'm like,
hmm
how dare they decide to like meet their quota and give me a fucking ticket? Like, you know what I mean? And then I was kind of like, And that's how I was like, I think I was telling my partner that. I was like, and they gave me tickets. She was like, well, maybe you shouldn't have parked there. And I was like, well, maybe you shouldn't have parked there. Like, like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean? And I was kind of like, damn, like, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't have fucking parked there. Somebody said to me, like, well, aren't you going to fight it? And I'm like, no, because I fucking parked there. I just shouldn't have done it. Like, fuck. Like,
So this kind of gets to this point about, you mentioned outsourcing self-pres stuff. And
yes.
And so, I mean, the Enneagram or official typing of use is self-pres social. And I know you've kind of questioned it, but
Yeah.
this idea of unconscious. So this is what you wrote. It said unconsciously, energetically seducing and charming people,
Mhm.
even in a platonic sense, so that they want to help or guide me, because deep down, I always know that I can't find my way on my own, quote unquote. And so so there's this weird thing of like, still looking to be taken care of in that way. And this,
I still do, even in relationships. Like like my girlfriend has to like tell me to eat, or she'll be like, Lay's potato chips are not dinner. I'm like, it's girl dinner. She's like, no, it's not dinner. She's like, you need to like, and she'll be like, she'll tell me like, okay, we're gonna make like a meal plan. Like we're gonna come up with like, I need you to write down like, what do you think we should eat this week? Because otherwise, I'll just be like, I don't know, maybe I'll have a muffin tonight, or like my mom has her shit together more than like any person I've ever known ever in my life. Like, she's like a self-pres social 3-wing. She's like a 316 or something. Like she has her shit together. And if she wasn't helping drive the boat on my life, I'd be fucked. Like I'd be fucked. And like if my coworkers didn't like me, I'd be fucked. Like if if people didn't want to like, and this is one of the things that like I've talked about to my therapist a lot, where I'm like, and this is gonna sound really shallow, and I'm like aware of that. So there was that point in time where like I had been like binge eating and stuff, and I gained a lot of weight, and then I was so fucking wigged out about having gained weight, because I'm like, now I'm not gonna be like attractive. People are gonna look at me differently, and they're not gonna want to like, they're not gonna put up with me. They're not gonna help me. They're not gonna, wanna. And I don't think this was stuff that was super consciously happening, but it was stuff that I kind of like pulled out of, me. I was like, if I'm not like cute and like, whatever, then like people aren't gonna want me, and like nobody's gonna want me around. And then I'm gonna like fucking starve in the woods by myself, because I don't know how to fucking do anything. Like, I don't know how to fucking like balance a check. Like, I don't know how to fucking do my taxes. Like, I don't fucking know. So what the hell? Like, I need people to do it for me, or else I'm fucked.
That's amazing. Yeah. So your cuteness and presenting your frazzleness or your suffering, or whatever, is sort of this unconscious mechanism
like
to attract.
If I'm funny, I'm like, oh, I'm so funny. I'm self-deprecating. If I, and you know what? And this, oh fuck, you know what? This sucks. I just fucking.
Oh yeah, hit me. Oh yeah.
Oh fuck.
I can see it on your face. Yeah. Give it.
On some level, and I have thought of this before, but on some level, I feel like my self-growth after was also in service of that, because nobody's going to want to be around me if I'm a piece of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to want to help me. I will lose support if I'm psycho. And I was like, so it's also, because I'll get my little, let me put on my little super ego crown. Oh, look at me. I'm so good. I'm so evolved. Da, da, da. Like, no, bitch. You're still just trying to like soothe the like, oh, but if I seem like kind of evolved, if I do, but if I'm also funny and I seem like all these things, then people are going to want to help me. And then people are going to like, oh, that's okay. I'll teach you how to do these things. Oh, I'll just do it for you. Oh my God. You spend all this money on stupid fucking shit because you forget that like money is a thing that doesn't just exist in the abstract. That's okay. I show you how to do it. And I'm like, oh, so what the fuck happens when I hit 30? You know what I mean? Like, then the eternal woman child it's just the shit that's happening with Ariana Grande. Like, not to bring fucking pop culture into it, but she's like,
Uh-huh.
all of a sudden she's like, I'm little blonde Ariana Grande, and now I'm just like little Princess Glinda, and now nobody can talk bad about me because I, broke up this marriage with this
Mhm.
guy, and like, oh, because she hit like 30, and now she's like, well, fuck, what the fuck am I gonna do? Nobody's gonna
Yeah.
think I'm cute anymore. Like, I'm 28, and I hit 28, and I was like, fuck, this shit isn't cute anymore. So then what did I have to do? I had to get this fucking phone case that has dinosaurs on it, I guess. They're T-Rexes. I've
Yeah.
never had a phone case like this. And on some level, I'm like, look how fun and cool I am with my little phone case. I get phone cases with dinosaurs on it because I'm like,
Yeah.
it's all in service of just, it's so shallow too. It's just
And
all in service of being more attractive to people on some level because I am a shallow little bitch. No, but yeah.
okay. Yeah. But okay, that was pretty kind of a powerful moment, actually, just that you had a
Yeah.
realization in real time. And I think the essence of it is just the essence of it was that even the ways that you've applied yourself in your journey of personal growth has been in the service of making yourself more attractive to the kind of parenting that you're trying to get.
Yeah. Or even like whenever I do things where it's like, oh, I'm doing these things that are like, I'm
Yeah.
helping other people and I'm going to go do these things and I'm going to volunteer. Oh, I'm going to be really like active about, or oh, I'm going to like educate myself about what's going on politically and stuff. Da, da, da. And I'm like, okay, but on what level is that so that I'm like the type of person that does those kind of things and that's attractive to people? Do you know what I mean? On what
Yeah.
level is it actually still shallow? On what level is me trying to acquire depth still shallow? Do you know what I mean?
No, I
Yeah.
totally get that. And I have my own version
Yeah.
of that. I mean,
Yeah.
totally get that.
Yeah.
Um, let's see, where do I go with that? I want to make a comment, but then I have another question about it. So I know Riso Hudson had this formulation of the saving grace of
Mhm.
each type, which is that as they're descending the levels, in their formulation, going from level 6 to level 7 is like clicking into the realm of truly unhealthy, like moving into psychotic, self-destructive behavior.
Yeah.
And it's a significant like ka-chunk into a different
Yeah.
level. And their idea of the saving grace is that what is the inherent mechanism within this type that actually prevents them from going there?
Yeah.
So, for example, for 3, it's like, well, I don't want to be a deceptive, opportunistic cheater because I
Yeah.
actually do want to be valued. I want to be a valuable person.
Right.
So it serves the ego's needs, but it does prevent you from going down, and
Right.
actually it can even help you lift yourself up from level 6 to level 5 and 4. And then eventually the higher you go, the deeper the fears you have to confront, but the more
Yeah.
integrity you recover. And
Yeah.
so it feels to me like you kind of just had an authentic realization of something like that, where it was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm the way that I'm applying myself to my personal growth is in service still of the 6 ego, but it's just like
Yeah.
a part of the
Even when I think I'm
Yeah.
transcending the bullshit,
yeah.
I am really still, it's all motivated by that same, I'm kind of like, I don't want to be alienated from people. And then I learned that like, okay, well, you want to be alienated socially, it's acting like that and alienating everybody in your
Right.
life. So you've got to
Right.
like get it together or else nobody's gonna, put up with that shit.
How did you know that was true, that realization?
I felt it.
Yeah.
I felt it. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
felt it in your body.
Yeah. Right here.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Hmm. Yeah. It's kind of like a lesser version of what I'm about to describe. You ever have where you kind of have, that something is coming, like bad news or something, not bad news necessarily. I don't know. And then you act, okay, this is so dramatic, but you ever, no, I'm not gonna, okay. You ever have where, in movies where this is so dramatic, okay? But this is just the image that came into my head, okay?
Okay.
Actually, I had two things that came into my head, but I'm gonna go with this first one first.
Okay.
But so, in movies from like World War II movies, and the wife's at home, she's washing the dishes or whatever, her husband's off at war, and then she looks out the window and the fucking car pulls up and the fucking people in the military uniforms get out of the car and she's like, no. And then they come to the door and then they're like, tell her, and she's like, and you can imagine she has this like the realization of like the, oh fuck, like that would hit right there.
Yeah.
It's like that, except they're like, open the door and they're like, it's all 6. It always has been. And I'm like, fuck no. Like, or like
Yeah.
the picture of Dorian Gray, like that concept of like, where, oh, well, it looks all nice on the outside. But if you go upstairs and you actually like look at the ugly ass picture, I've never read this book. So this is probably like really far off, but
Okay.
so
Yeah.
I want to,
Yeah.
but, and then you go and you see like what's actually there. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck. Oh God. It's like, yeah. So,
putting this in my own words, I guess what I'm hearing from you is that insight, which resonated for you at a body level as something
mhm,
true and profound,
mhm.
it came to you through a different center than the mental center.
Yeah. Well, what's really interesting is like, I've had that happen another time too, which it was actually in relation to that like breakup that I had
Mm-hmm.
told you
Mm-hmm.
about, where had I had gotten to this point where I was like, I should know better now than to like still be hung up on this and to still be like trying to deconstruct this narrative that I think has been built socially, which is totally true, but whatever. But I was kind of like still trying to manage the way I was being seen by people who I didn't know them anymore. Right.
Uh-huh.
And I was like so concerned about like how I presented to the people that was still friends with this current ex. Cause I was like, I want them to be able to report back that I am like, she's great, sir. Like, whatever, you know?
Mhm.
And I was like, I'm not even
That's a
on
really
some
interesting,
level the
just real
same.
quick, just roundabout, like attachment from a distance,
Oh,
like,
yeah. I'm like always,
yeah,
it was even social media. I was like,
yeah,
okay, because if our friends that are still connected, like I want to manage this image
yeah, yeah,
of what I think that they have been told, but look how rational I am online now, or whatever. You know what I
sure.
mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
just image management bullshit. It's just like,
Three stuff there too, three fix.
just like crazy neurotic shit. Like, bitch, stop. What the fuck? And I do this shit all the time. Like, I'm getting dinner with people that still know him tonight, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be so chill. It's gonna be so chill. I'm gonna be the chillest girl. And it's like, girl, this was like 5 years ago. But so I had gotten to this point where I was like, why am I still like, I should know better now. Why am I still trying to fix this? Why do I still, on some level, hope that someday we can just be friends again? Because I've
Yeah.
never, anybody that's gone out of my life or whatever, like, even in breakups, like, I'm still friends with my other exes. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And I'm kind of like, why do I have this thing where I need people to still be connected in my life? And so I started writing a song about it. And I ended up with this line that was like, still I cling to the hope of fixing what's been broken because I couldn't fix my broken home. I should know better now. And I was like, oh my God, it's because my fucking parents are divorced.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. I was like, holy shit. And I had no idea before that. It just came out of like, it wasn't a
Mm-hmm.
thought that I had, but it came out of some area of just like truth. And it hit me like a fucking lightning bolt. I was like, holy
Yeah.
shit. And I feel like after that, I was able to kind of let it go
Mm. Oh
more
wow.
so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not totally. But I still, I was like, oh, it's not really about that. It's about like this other thing.
I
So,
see. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I have two more questions for you, then
Yeah.
maybe we'll come to a close.
Okay.
So the first one is, given this unconscious desire for support and I don't know, pick your favorite phrase to describe this whole this figure or environment or something that will help you not have to take responsibility for yourself, and the journey
Mhm.
that you have to take to actually summon yourself to take responsibility for yourself.
Yeah.
What's the what motivates you saying to someone, for example, I don't need your support? That whole thing where it's like, I can stand on my own 2 feet. I'm not that whole showing your independence
Yeah.
to peacocking your independence as almost like a reaction against
Well,
the
because then they have
yeah.
authority and I don't like that.
Yeah, so there's like
I've given
another
them
inner conflict,
authority.
right? Yeah, so
Yeah.
and that's
I've given them well, that was something I've worked on. I'm sorry, I totally interrupted you.
no, I'm just fascinated by this because it seems so I don't get how that inner conflict serves the ultimate underlying purpose of 6. Like
I don't think it does.
like for example, for 3, I what seems simple to me, or what seems clear to me, is that I'm reading what people value and then unconsciously trying to become that or present myself as
Mhm.
that in order to earn or win their admiring gaze,
Mhm.
as an unconscious pattern. And for 6, it's
Right.
like I'm reading what will earn me support,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to be the kind of person for whom that support,
Right.
you know.
Well, I think it's because support can be taken away, and that's scary. So it's like this,
Okay,
like
yes, yeah,
reacting against, like, I think it's like this unconsciously, like you realize you've given, like something I've worked on in therapy is like, I will
yeah,
just give away my power,
yeah,
like, or
yeah.
whatever. Like, I'll just give it away. I'll give away she would say, like, stop giving away the keys to like your autonomy and stuff.
There it is. Yeah, that's good.
And I still
Yeah,
do it, but it's kind of like, but then it's like this realization that, oh, fuck, like they have, they've become an authority because I've given them that.
yeah.
They haven't taken it for themselves. I've given it to them. And then being like, so it's this weird, like wanting their approval so much, but then realizing that if they don't give that to you or you don't get their approval, like that's gonna fucking hurt. So
Mhm.
then being like, because then it's like on some level, like it's a resource. So like it's like, oh fuck, well then I don't need it. It's like people who are like nobody. I was saying nobody trusts the government. I don't fucking know. Where am I going, Sarah? Come back.
Yeah.
People who are like, we don't trust the government, but then like, no, you just want to trust this one thing. I'm not going there. We're not going political, Sarah. Come back. Okay. Come back. Okay. That's not what I sound like when I sing. I sound better than that. But
Maybe we could anchor to the specific moment of,
uh,
again, I know this was a crazy kind of unhinged moment of your life, but when
yeah.
you were talking about how in your relationship with your ex
Mhm.
in your early 20s that you would have said to him, you would have wanted his support and his kind of
Mhm.
enveloping, protective kind of being there.
Yeah.
And also at the same time, you would have said, "But I don't I can sit on my own 2 feet. Get away, that kind of
But I
thing."
don't need you. Yeah.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
it's like, but yes, you do, bitch. And it's like, I think it's also this like not wanting to need that because
Hmm.
if you need it, then it can be taken away. And then there's that like struggle of like, oh, fuck.
But
Yeah.
is there also a 3 fix thing going on where you're reading on some level? You're aware that if you're too needy for support, that it will be taken away, and so you're trying to show
Mhm.
that you don't need the support as a way
Yeah.
actually to get it.
Yeah. Because then if you look too dependent, then that drives people away
Right,
because
right.
nobody wants to deal with that. Because
So
unfortunately,
yeah,
I have a lot of concern about how things look or whatever.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because that makes sense. There's some image management piece that's going on there.
Mhm. And so, but it's this weird reactive way of like, well, I don't need you. Like,
Yeah,
go on now, get. And it's
yeah,
like, okay, but bitch, yes, you do. Like, that's so transparent. If you
yeah.
didn't need this, you wouldn't be like, like, if, if it's like, okay, if you're not actually worried about what anybody fucking thinks about you, you're not going to be that fucking stressed about what everybody thinks about you.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Makes sense.
yeah.
Well, why don't we move towards a close? I
Okay.
guess my kind of, as a final reflection, I'm wondering, as you have moved more into trying to take more responsibility for yourself and
Hmm.
combat, to use that word, I don't know if that's the right word, but to combat the kind of type 6 pattern,
Yeah.
or to work against it, or to arise into yourself in a new way where you're becoming more of an adult. What's shifting for you, and what's that process been like?
So I think, um, one of the things that I've been trying to work on, or maybe the thing that's been the biggest kind of struggle with it, has been having awareness of the things that I want to work on, like, with like the victim mentality and like self-sabotage and that kind of stuff. And then still having self-compassion when it happens, when I see it
Hmm.
pop up. And
Yeah,
not letting it kind of turn into like an emotional, like I'm trash spiral.
yeah.
Because I think it can become that if left. No, I'm choking. Oh my god, if left unchecked. So that's been the thing that's been kind of the hardest, because I don't know if that's, some super ego bullshit kind of thing where um it's resisting the uh maybe not impulse, but tendency to think of myself as bad because that's happened, and just be like, okay, this is like a thing that I'm working on, and it's just, you know, that's just part of being human.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's something that, because I don't, I'm floating off and away again. Yeah, no, I think that's been the thing that's been kind of the hardest, or that I've kind of come back to again and again, where I'm kind of like, okay, like, you did that thing, but, just like we've got to take accountability for the other shit, you can take accountability for it, but still be like, when there are other people in our life, when they, you know, fuck up, or they're working on something and their progress isn't linear, we're not just gonna throw them away. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But then I think, so then I have to apply that to myself and be like, okay, well, first of all, don't throw yourself away, but also the people in your life aren't gonna throw you away just because, you know, you're not on all the time or whatever. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
that's been a big part of it, is just working on that.
Or I guess not throwing
okay
you,
with
they
that.
wouldn't throw you away if you were to be
To admit that,
adult such that you
Yeah.
don't need the protection from them. In other words, like the template of relationship that Six almost assumes is that you're going to be there as a support in some kind of way. And so evolving out of that doesn't actually threaten the relationship. It just
yeah,
evolves it into-
absolutely.
yeah.
To be like, okay, because then they're not gonna, I have to trust that, yeah, just because I'm not gonna be, just because they're not gonna be filling some need for me to be like parented, and I'm not gonna be filling that role of something that needs to be parented or fixed, we can
Mhm.
create something there that's actually more truthful, and that, like,
Yeah.
that's okay, and I have to, like, trust that.
Yeah.
And find a way of being that's different than just, like, this maybe mold that I was forcing myself into unconsciously. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Yeah.
Like,
That makes sense.
allowing myself for fluidity in that.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, okay. What has this been like for you?
It's been good. It's been really good. I was really nervous when we first started, but I feel a lot, like, better now, and I feel like there were genuine insights and stuff that happened here, and that was really cool. I really enjoyed this. Um, I could talk about this shit for, like, 6 hours. I mean, listen, I sent you all the bullet points and shit. I can just fucking
Uh-huh.
go indefinitely. But, like, no, I've really enjoyed this. This has been really great.
Yeah,
Thanks
me
for
too.
having me
I really,
on.
no, my pleasure. And thanks for wanting to do it. And yeah, that was really cool to watch you have those insights in
Yeah.
real time and to kind of unpack those with you. So
Yeah.
yeah, thanks just for being so open. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Cool beans.
Thank you for tuning in to my conversation with Sarah. If you liked this conversation, then please click the like button or hit subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Or if you're listening to this as a podcast, then you can leave up to a 5-star review. Or if you're on Apple or Spotify, you can also leave some comments. Those are free and very effective ways to support me and my work and the work that we do at the Enneagram School. If you like Sarah and you want to check out her music, then I recommend that you go do so. You can find links to her music projects in the show notes below. Also, if you are interested in the Enneagram and you'd like to learn more about the Enneagram, then you can come check us out at theenneagramschool.com. Right on that website, there is free content where you can learn the basics and also a directory of all the previous interviews that we've done. And if you get on our email list, then we will also send you updates about when we release new interviews just like this, as well as when we announce courses, retreats, workshops, and things of that nature. We also have an intro course, and I want to plug that. It's a great place to start if you're a beginner, and if you're an advanced student, it's a great place to go back to basics. It's where we kind of lay out all the introductory concepts of the Enneagram, what makes the Enneagram, and then we do a deep dive on all the types. So it's a perfect orientation or reorientation. Okay. If you think that you are a good candidate to be interviewed on the show, then I'd love to hear from you. You can go to theenneagramschool.com and send me a message through the contact form. Preference strongly goes to people who have been officially typed by the typing team at Enneagrammer. Enneagrammer is, in my view, the world's most accurate and precise Enneagram typing service. You can go check them out at enneagrammer.com, check out their typing services, as well as you can check out their members area where they release weekly videos where they type celebrities, and you can watch them make very fine-tuned distinctions about the Enneagram and how types present in real time. Finally, I want to say that this show that I'm doing here, What It's Like to Be You, and also Enneagrammer, are nodes in a network of collaborators and creatives that I want to just let you know what else is in the network. So we have another podcast called Sinsomnia that Kristen and Kaisa and Sammy, aka the Dream Girls, do. And that is a show where they explore the relationship between dreams and the unconscious realm in the Enneagram. Very powerful show. And also we have a new show coming out called House of Enneagram, which is going to be a much more open form collaboration between basically all the brilliant minds in our creative universe, where we explore everything about the Enneagram, basic concepts, advanced concepts, relationships to mainstream psychological concepts, Freud, Jung, etc., as well as applications or insights of the Enneagram that pertain to arts, culture, politics, current events, etc. So a lot of new, fresh creative energy coming there. Go check us out at House of Enneagram. All the links to all this stuff will be in the show notes below. And that is it for me. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.